Hey, here's to your health. I want to talk about a nice book I read. As you know, I'm a history buff, and um, I want to straighten out some misconceptions about General Patton. This is the book I read. Take a look at it here. And large book, almost 900 pages. So we've all seen the movie with George C. Scott, where he won an Academy Award portraying General Patton. Good movie. I liked it. My only disappointment was that when Mr. Scott was given an Academy Award, he turned it down for a protest, and I don't think that's appropriate. These awards are done for a certain reason, not for protests. But anyway, things about George Patton. The movie had a lot of the stories we all heard. I'll take this hill if it takes a truckload of dog tags and things of this nature. But um, that was a persona that he created for himself. And I'll explain this a little bit right now. He said he would stand in front of a mirror. My information comes from this book for 45 minutes, getting this stern look he had. A look that would strike fear into a pile of bricks. And he had standing orders once he obtained some rank that if anybody took a picture of him smiling, he'd put him in the guardhouse. And the reason for this, he says, one of the problems with war, you have to take young men that people we know, missionaries and people that young guys that only want to do good in life and appreciate how sacred life is, and you have to turn them into a killing machine. And you know what he's doing is he's just trying to show that the guy you're trying to kill is don't deserve to live. He's just a piece of clay or something. And I think one of his famous quotes is that I don't want you to give your life for your country. I want you to make the other SOB give his life for his country. Well, now, what a lot of people didn't know, General Patton, as a young boy, he had a hard time in school, really hard time. See, they found out later on he was dyslexia. I can appreciate that. I am also, at least I think so. But can you imagine that getting to military college? In those days, you had to know Latin. So being dyslexia and having to wrestle with regular um, subjects, it was a challenge. But he managed, and through the help of his father, and he was very innovative. He wanted to be in the cavalry, and he fought in the First World War. But after that, the cavalry was mustered out, and tank command took over. Now, as a young man, him and General Eisenhower at that time, I guess, was a lieutenant. Um, they would take tanks apart and put them back together, and just experiment with it and make send messages to the Army headquarters. There was no Pentagon in those days, or how these things could be improved. Now, as he approached the edge of the Second World War, he was in Indigo, California. Now, we've all seen a stern man that, just make you shake in your boots. But there was sometimes that the young man was killed, or not killed, but, lay dying in the bed and got hit with a tank or something. And General Patton would go to the man's tent with his Bible and pray with him and stay with him until the young man had passed away. Now, it'd been nice if Hollywood had showed that instead of just this exaggerating and zooming in on his ego. Another time during the Second World War, um, he was being driven towards the front lines in a Jeep, and there was a young soldier laying on the side with his leg almost torn off. And the general had the Jeep stop, got out the first aid kit, and sent the Jeep forward, and he gave the boy morphine and prayed with him and stayed there until the young man had help. Again, this is where Hollywood messed up with the golden opportunity to tell the story correctly. Oh, I love the movie, don't get me wrong. Another time I read some other books on the general. He's just amazing man. And as you know, you see it in the movie where he was ordered to stop. Really a part of the thing that they didn't show you, they just couldn't keep up with him, keep the supplies to the man. When he moved forward, he took real estate. That's a mark of a good soldier. A Marine, if you feed a Marine, he'll get you real estate. Okay. Well, one of the things he would do, say, and I'm making this river up, but we'll just take, say, the Rhine River in Germany. He's ordered to stop there. Now, he calls this method the rock soup method, and I'll explain that in just a second. But he's ordered to stop here, but you can always do recon. So, he sent over some soldiers, a platoon to the other side, but he was sending word that he knew that they would come under fire. Well, if they come under fire, an officer can support his men. So you send more men, Germans send more men, and so pretty soon he's across the river. Now, he called that the rock soup method, and he talks about a hobo. And hobo knocks on this lady's door and says, "Would you like me to show you how to make rock soup?" And I'm going to show you the book again as I'm talking. And she says, yes. He says, well, I have the magic rock. And so she invites him into the house. And as for a pan, needs a pan full of water, brings it to a boil. He already put the rock in there, the magic rock. Now, of course, it has to be flavored. And he'll ask for some vegetables and, wherever goes in the soup, carrots and onions and a little bit of meat. Then he would strain it and take the rock out and strain it and give her half, and he'd be on his way. And that was one of his favorite stories. As a young boy, he was born in the military. He lived in Virginia, and he used to be infatuated and sit there and listen to the stories of the great ghost, John Mosby, about the wars of the Confederacy. And some people call it the War of Northern Aggression, but we'll let history decide what it is. And just many things that this man did over in Fort Myer, just outside of Washington, D.C. It's adjacent to Arlington National Cemetery. He had an accident riding a horse and got stepped on, but where man don't want to get stepped on, and took quite a bit of therapy to get him straightened out. The book goes in also into the he just couldn't tone down his rhetoric when he was displeased with the way things were going, and that eventually got him relieved from the Third Army. But again, there's other good books out there. I've seen the movie 3 or 4 times, and I'll probably see it again. Just very good. But this is Cowboyron. This is part of my Happy Trails of the West, and I guess if you ride a horse, you're entitled to that category. So till next time, I hope you live as long as you want and never want as long as you live.